If your day already feels ruined and it's not even 9 a.m., this is for you. Maybe you woke up late. Maybe you checked your phone and instantly regretted it, a stressful email, a piece of bad news, or just the endless scroll. Maybe nothing specific happened at all, but somehow the day already feels like it's running ahead of you and you're chasing it in slow motion through mud. That feeling has a name. I call it the spiral. It starts small. One stressful thought becomes a stressful hour, a stressful morning bleeds into a scattered afternoon, and by the time night falls, you're lying in bed wondering where it all went wrong, replaying mistakes, and dreading tomorrow. But here's the good news. You don't need a 2-hour, perfectly curated morning routine to fix this. You don't need a sudden bolt of motivation. You don't need to download another productivity app or read another list of 30 life hacks. You just need 10 focused minutes. Today, I'm going to walk you through a simple 3-step reset that can interrupt the spiral, clear the fog from your head, and help you take back your day. Not tomorrow, today. It's a framework I call the 10-minute reset, and its 3 pillars are ground, clarify, and commit. First, let's quickly understand why your day goes off the track so quickly. When you wake up already feeling behind or overwhelmed, your brain treats it like a threat. It's not a life or death threat, of course, but it's enough to trigger a low-grade stress response. Your shoulders tense up, your breathing gets shallow, your thoughts start to race, your attention shatters into a million tiny pieces, and in that state, you stop choosing your next action, you start reacting. You react to every notification, every email, every task that pops into your head. You're bouncing from the thing you forgot to do yesterday to the thing you're afraid won't get done today. Here's where most people make a critical mistake. They try to fix the feeling of overwhelm by moving faster. They try to answer more emails, start more tasks, and just push harder. But moving faster when you're already anxious usually just creates more chaos. It's like trying to outrun a storm by running in circles. The goal is not to push harder. The goal is to reset the system first. 3 steps, 10 minutes. Let's begin. Step 1 is the 2-minute ground. Before you make a to-do list, before you answer a single message, before you start blaming yourself for being late or unfocused, stop for just 2 minutes. Physically move away from your screen if you can. If you're at a desk, stand up. Walk to a window and look outside. If you can, step out onto a balcony or into your backyard. At the very least, just plant both of your feet flat on the floor. The point of this is to break the loop. When you stay frozen in front of the same screen, staring at the same list of problems with the same anxious thoughts swirling in your head, your brain keeps repeating the same stress pattern. You need to give it a pattern interrupt. Now, take 5 slow breaths. This isn't about perfect meditation. It's not a spiritual performance. It's just physiology. A slow inhale through your nose and a longer, slower exhale through your mouth. As you exhale, consciously let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Feel the tension release. This matters because you cannot plan clearly when your body is still convinced everything is an emergency.
2 minutes. That's the price of admission to get your thinking brain, your prefrontal cortex, back online. So, the first step? Ground your body before you try to solve the problem. Step 2 is the 5-minute clarity dump. This is where most people, with the best of intentions, accidentally make their anxiety worse. They try to map out their entire day, their entire week, while their brain is still overloaded with 1,000 competing thoughts. Don't do that. Instead, take out a piece of paper or open a blank note and answer only 3 questions. Question 1, what is the single most important thing I need to accomplish today? Not 10 things, not your entire life plan, 1 thing. The one task that if it got done would make you feel like today was worthwhile. What's the one domino that will knock over others? Question 2, what am I most afraid won't happen today? This sounds like a strange question, but it's incredibly powerful. Unnamed anxiety feels huge, formless, and terrifying. But when you give it a name, when you write it down, it becomes something concrete, something you can actually look at. I'm afraid I won't finish the report for my boss. I'm afraid I won't have the energy to cook a healthy dinner. Once it's on paper, you can see it for what it is.
You might realize the fear is valid, or you might realize it's exaggerated. Either way, it stops controlling you from the shadows. And question 3, what is one small action I can take right now? Not a big, intimidating action, a small one. Something so simple you could start it in the next 15 minutes. It could be open the document, or write the first sentence of that email, or put on my running shoes. When you're overwhelmed, your brain wants to freeze. A tiny, obvious next step gives it a clear path forward. Do not overthink these answers. Write fast. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is clarity. And that brings us to step 3, the commitment. This is the crucial step that turns that newfound clarity into actual movement. Look at your answer to question 3, that one small action. Circle it, underline it, whatever you need to do. Then I want you to say this out loud. I am doing this first. Yes, out loud. It might feel a little silly, but hearing yourself commit makes the decision feel more real and binding to your brain. Then set a timer for 25 minutes. For those 25 minutes, you are going to do only that one thing. No checking notifications, no opening 5 other browser tabs, no suddenly deciding to switch to an easier task because your chosen one feels a little uncomfortable. One task, one timer, one clean start. This is where the reset truly takes hold, because starting is almost always the hardest part. Once you begin, momentum starts to build. The pressure in your chest drops. Your brain stops seeing the whole day as one giant tangled problem and starts to see just the next step. And that's all you ever need. Not the whole staircase, just the next step. So let's recap the full system. 2 minutes to ground your body and break the stress loop. 5 minutes to answer the 3 clarity questions.
2 minutes to commit to one small action. Then 25 minutes of focused work. Ground, clarify, commit. Notice what this system does. It doesn't ask you to suddenly feel motivated. It doesn't ask you to become a different person. It simply gives your brain enough calm, enough direction, and enough momentum to stop the spiral from taking over your day. And here's the part most people miss. This reset isn't just for mornings. Use it at 2 p.m. when the post-lunch slump destroys your momentum. Use it at 6 p.m. when you still have 3 important things hanging over your head. Use it before a difficult meeting, before you sit down to study, or any time you feel that background dread getting a little louder. The spiral can start at any hour, which means the reset can happen at any hour. 10 minutes, that's all it takes to change the direction of your day. Not always dramatically, but slightly. And a 1-degree shift repeated over time takes you to a completely different destination. I also want to be honest with you. Some days this will feel almost magical. You'll do the reset, start the task, and suddenly the fog will lift and the whole day will open up. Other days, things will still feel heavy. That does not mean it failed. The goal is not to force yourself into a state of fake positivity. The goal is simply to give yourself the best possible conditions to move forward. Even on a hard day, one clear action is a win. One focused block of time is a win. One moment where you stop spiraling and choose your next step is a win. Progress does not need to feel perfect. The deepest lesson here is this. Don't wait until you're desperate to use this system. Most productivity tools fail because we only reach for them when our house is already on fire. Build the habit on ordinary days. Use the 3 questions on a normal, calm Tuesday. Practice grounding when you already feel centered. When you build the habit in moments of calm, it becomes automatic in moments of stress. That is how you become the kind of person who doesn't need a perfect day to make progress. You are not behind. Let me say that again. You are not behind. The idea of being behind implies there's some fixed race that everyone else is winning and you are failing to finish. There isn't. There is just today, this moment, and the next 10 minutes. So here is what I want you to do when this is over. Step away from whatever screen you're on, take 5 slow breaths, answer the 3 questions, pick one small action, set a timer, and start. Better days aren't built all at once. They are built from the next clear action, and yours can start right now.